A very good afternoon. Occasions in world sport do not come any bigger than this one this afternoon. Welcome to leg 6 of the Longines Global Champions Tour. We are here in Ramatuelle, Saint-Tropez. This is alongside the mighty Côte d'Azur. It's a coastal paradise that welcomes the Longines Global Champions Tour here once again. We first came here in 2018. That was the inaugural edition. This is the 7th edition of the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez. Jules Thomas, he leads the way after the first 5 legs. He was second in Shanghai in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix. And Simon Delestre was second last week in Cannes behind Harry Smulders and Monaco. We take you around the course that is set by Gregory Bodo for the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix Leg 6, Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez. But now the turn of the defending champions. Max Kühne is on the course for Austria, the lone wolf for Austria this afternoon. Max is the one about 14 at the moment. He's just dropped out of the top 10 on the world rankings. Up to Jacko Blue, gets very deep, little stumble out of the treble. But yeah, the loss of rhythm, I'm afraid, out of that. The defending champion comes home, but a little stumble out of the Longines treble. They cleared the vertical at 160, but I think the little loss of rhythm may be concentration. The vice world champion from Henning gets away. Jérôme Guéry is on the course. Improvisation from Jérôme Guéry of the highest order. This is the former rider of Great Britain's Isaac Ketteridge. And this horse is very first Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix and first 5-star Grand Prix to boot. Jérôme Guéry sees a massive stride into the final line. Absolutely extraordinary. The strides he was finding down to 6 and then down to 7 were out of the blue, and then down the final line saw a massive stride into 12, pulled it off somehow, and Killer Queen just explodes into her first 5-star Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix jump off. Guido Grimaldi's 4th Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix this year. This pair were 29th last week with us in Cannes. And could we have our second clear for the Italian? Down to the last fence, and he can clear it. Oh wow, the time is going to bite. Guido Grimaldi is nevertheless totally ecstatic. Given his amateur status, he has worked for the family business since 2020, and it's an ecstatic picture. Guido Grimaldi has 1 on the clock. 2 extraordinary jockeys for Great Britain here this week in John Whittaker and Scott Brash. And Scott, we welcome. He is number 20. Last week they were in La Boule. They were 4th and 7th in 2 5-star classes on the Atlantic coastline up to the west of our base here in Ramatuelle. And Scott Brash to join Jérôme Guéry and to target Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix win number 14. It's on the cards here. Time is good, and Scott Brash comes storming home. Faint of touches at the last fence, but this man is unstoppable with this outstanding mare. The home crowd welcome Julien Paillard to the scene of this fierce battle this afternoon. Donatello Dorge can jump the plank 3 from home, and Julien Paillard chases a second win here. Nobody's won this Grand Prix twice, but now it's a possibility, a distinct one. The battle is brewing, and we have our third clear. France joins Belgium and Great Britain. The new starter, Penelope Le Prévost, gets away. She has just jumped once here in the 6th form editions this Grand Prix. Penelope Le Prévost heads down to the final fence, and this has been a masterclass from this wonderful lady. She is so talented. She was a French national champion in Fontainebleau, Texas in 2022. 7-strong squad. We welcome Philip Weishaupt to the start. Aurélien Diard comes down to the Lugano Oxer into this difficult related distance to the Premier Mare's plank, and it is all intact here. Philipp Weishaupt is going to be quite close to time, but I think he's okay. Super round. Germany finally can breathe a sigh of relief and target their first win in the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez. Philipp Weishaupt powers around the new starter. The season leader at the moment, Gilles Thomas, is on the course, and he selected this very young 9-year-old daughter of Emma van der Ruyter. So she's 9. Coulisse Dienne enters the heat of battle here for the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez. This could be a remarkable story that Gilles Thomas is scripting here for us on the southern French coast. Oh my word. This man's talent knows no boundaries, and he shows it once again. The US contingent look nervous, understandably, on the sidelines because Natalie Dean enters. A pure horsewomanship this has been. I think my round of the afternoon, it was brilliant. Natalie Dean romps home. I can't tell you, the precision of riding was through the roof. Natalie Dean joins Ken Farrington. We have now a pair for the USA to join the pair for France and for Belgium. It is going to be the 8 clear rounds. 2 for France, 2 for the USA, and the pair for Belgium. 1 for Germany, for the Weishaupt, and 1 for Great Britain, Scott Brash. Delighted to welcome you to the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix jump off here, leg 6, Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez in the south of France. This is the course. As if we hadn't seen enough, we go onwards. It's going to be a brilliant jump off to the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix of Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez, leg 6. The vice world champion, Jérôme Guéry, will set us into action. This is his brand new ride this year. Jérôme Guéry, 30 seconds just prior to the wall, with now the pale blue rails on top of it. Jérôme Guéry now sets sail for the final fence here in Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez for the first double clear of the afternoon. It's simply very impressive what this man has done once again. 45.23, the opening time for Scott Brash target as he eyes up his 14th Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix win. Hello, Chidora Lady comes fleet-footed down to the Seahorses, Oxa, and this is much quicker. Getaway turn inside to the Longines verticals. Hello, Chidora Lady then compresses with Scott Brash around the turn to the Longines Global Champions Tour vertical. Split time will be way clear, surely. 2 seconds the advantage here. Scott Brash, 3 fences to go for his second Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix this season. Alexandra Lady opens up the angle to the Lugano. Oxa now the home run. Scott Brash races down to the final phase. Look at this time. He knocks a chunk out of Jérôme Guéry's time. 3.68 seconds is the British advantage. And 41.55 is the gauntlet Scott Brash throws down on the table. But now the former champion of this very class with this horse, Juliette Payard, will not be afraid of Scott Brash this time. Donatello Dorge gets away. 41.55 of Scott to beat, and Donny, I think, a little bit wider on the turn to the Longines verticals. Donatello Dorge comes again, angles to open up the Lugano. Oxa to the home turn now. This will be very tight on the line. Juliette Payard is going to be just behind. I think the difference was the turn from 3 back to 4B. Julien was a little bit wider. Scott was inside and flat to the boards. Could Penelope Leprevost strike? Scott Brash is going to be okay here. Penelope Leprevost left herself a little bit too much work to do. She really galvanized herself at the midpoint away from 4C. Back to 6. Well, Germany, they have yet to win this very Grand Prix, and Philipp Weishaupt is the flag bearer for Germany this afternoon. Philipp Weishaupt, Araudia, going to be 3 seconds or so more, maybe down. No, only 1.6. I don't believe it. This horse's stride cover still has got him. not a million miles away. Philipp Weishaupt down to the penultimate this evening, and the home turn. Rodiard, his second Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix, comes home. Now he's over 3 seconds down. I'm amazed it was only 1.6 seconds at the interval, but what a good double clear for Philipp Weishaupt. Scott Brash has a little look to cast his eye on the goings-on inside, because Gilles Thomas, we welcome. Qualista DN down to the Oxa. 1 second here, the disadvantage. Gilles, though, very fast around the corner to the wall at 9, meets that with gathering momentum. Angles here again to open up this home turn. Gilles Thomas turns homebound. He will not be too far away here. Qualista DN at the final fence. It's a great effort. It is simply impressive. 1.48 seconds the margin. The Gilles Thomas comes home behind Scott Brash. He'll go third as we stand. The world number 1, Ken Farrington, we welcome. Yep, tiny arrears, 0.16 the deficit. 2-laner. Right-handed, very sharply to the wall. Ken Farrington says woe to his mare. Now he'll charge down to the final fence. Scott Brash's time is in peril. The world number 1 comes down to the final fence. He will be just outside. 1.19 seconds. The deficit. Ken Farrington, it was literally hundredths at the first interval, but lost some time on the run for home. Natalie Dean is our anchor lady tonight. Akota hurtles around the corner through the shadows, but yeah, the mistake comes at 9. This mare's got such cornering speed, as we saw away from the combination. Here's the confirmation, ladies and gentlemen. Scott Brash winning this afternoon. Ken Farrington, the world number 1, is pegged back into second, and France's former champion here, Juliette Paillard, he is third.
Well, Scott, I was just saying to you earlier that that was almost frightening to watch for us. I can't imagine what that was like to ride. She is so quick.
Yeah, she's a really quick mare, and you've got to be thinking quick on her because she's ahead of the game. She loves the job. She wants to win.
These are the season standings now. Gilles Thomas maintains his first place. Scott Brash is, though, on the upward move into third, and Max Kuhner up into fourth. Christian Kukuk into fifth, but Gilles Thomas and Simon Delestre stay ahead of the chasing pack after leg 6 completes here in Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez. The winner of the Longines Global Champions Tour Grand Prix, leg 6, Ramatuelle Saint-Tropez, his 14th Grand Prix win with us. It is Great Britain's Scott Brash. There's the moment we can finally exhale. It's been a crescendo that Scott Brash would have dreamed of. It's his second win this season alone. We say well done to Scott. We will see you next week. Leg 7 is in Paris. We'll head north to the French capital. From the south of France, myself, Ed Holloway. Good afternoon. The night belongs to Great Britain's Scott Brash.